Wow. Now it's raining in Miami. How do you do it? It's raining now. Oh, so I think it's time. So 6:30. So we started on time. So good evening everyone. My name is Pedro Santos. I have the pleasure to be the Security Director for the Military Knowledge and Miami College. I have the honor to introduce the speakers for tonight. Talking about the speakers for tonight, I want to provide you with a little bit of my own view on the space in where we are tonight. And also I wanted to give a big shout out to one person that is here in the room that most likely he will be assisting every other month, but today is here. And we have to acknowledge the people that support, the people that created, and the people that are doing what everyone says they are going to be doing, but just few actually take the time, the passion to do it. So that person in this room today is Adam Budichenko. So I wanted to acknowledge Adam, and I'm going to explain to you who is Adam. So he's a former Navy officer. He was the one that the college hired to create the AI centers. He's the one that helped and supported the curriculum that we have today. He's the one that in 2020, when nobody was thinking about getting into AI or thinking about what we are discussing today, I remember the day that I met him. When we met him, it was online training 500 faculty on Miami Dade in 2020. The place that you see today is because of people like him, and he is one of the few that we can say that he has been there since day one. With that being said, Adam has been crucial to the creation of the AI program, hand in hand with the college president and the vision of people like the Dean of Tech, which is Manny Perez, the Vice President of Innovation, which is Antonio Gary. So it takes a village. But also, it takes a village to be on a Tuesday, training in Miami, here. And we acknowledge that. And it's not just to be here, drinking Coca-Cola or eating some chips. It's about learning. It's about creating the community that you want to be part of, and also getting to the steps of doing what you are dreaming to do. Miami College is helping the community to do that and inviting people that are going to be providing the knowledge that you want to take and sharing the path. So today we have two amazing speakers. We have Carlos and we have Vlad. As I said, we have the So I'm going to be introducing Carlos, which is, I'm going to talk about him, and Brad is going to be introducing what Carlos finished, Vlad. But before going to the introduction, there is a request that I have for you guys. So you guys are professionals, you guys are looking for more information about AI, and we have Miami Dade has something that I think we can connect. We have the talent. I heard that the conversation last week went great. Thank you for that conversation. And since I started learning about the conversation, I don't know why, but now everything is talking about swarms and AI. I don't know how, but everyone is take it, and you have to duplicate the agents. What happens is that we have a lot of students that are looking for opportunities to intern or to work in the company that you guys have or want to create. For example, Gio is one of those students. G is one of the students. We have students in the room that didn't know anything last year, but now they are looking for that. My only request for you guys, open your eyes and and let us know if you want to be part of this community. It's more about having the space, it's also to engage. So with that being said, I want to introduce Carlos. So who is Carlos? Carlos is a guy, really young that I was impressed because of his age. So he is part of IBM. He has been working in tech for a couple of years, but specifically in AI. So he has developed and helped IBM to use resources related to AI that he's going to be talking about. But more importantly, the conversation with Carlos is not a technical conversation. And I won't say his name because every time that I say his name,
I know.
I see it.
Dr. Strangelove, right?
So the conversation with Carlos today will be more about leadership, tech, and AI. How Carlos is doing more of giving back to the community. For example, Carlos is teaching English to recent immigrants to the States. And he's using his tech knowledge to do that. So Carlos, today's conversation is AI, leadership, and giving back to the community. Pay attention to Carlos.
Thanks, man.
Pay attention to him.
Or else.
So Carlos, he traveled with Adam teams from Virginia, and they are going to be part of not just today's conversation, just to give you more information about what they are doing. We are working in creating courses related to apply AI in different topics. So today's conversation, Carlos is a great guy that is taking his time to show you how you can apply technology into leadership and technology into giving back to the community. The second part of the conversation is going to be with Vlad, and probably he's going to go a little bit more in detail into the technical stuff. But again, Miami-Dade College is here to support any of the initiatives that you have and to listen and to receive feedback. If any of you is taking a course, interacting with anyone in Miami-Dade, and you have something that you think we can improve, let us know. That's what we're here for. We don't want to know that we are perfect because we know that we are not. If you see something in any of the campuses that we can improve, we will do that. So Carlos is your son.
Yeah.
So again, Carlos is going to be talking for at least a couple of minutes, 30 minutes or so, and we are going to have the mic open for Q&A. And just please pay attention to him because he's a powerful history. So thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Pedro. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. So my mic, just like this. Okay. All right. We live in a world that gives us more information today than generations have seen in their lifetime. We have more access to knowledge, data, and opportunities than ever before. With that comes a challenge, one that Herbert Simon, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, said, "A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention." Think about that for a second. A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. How many of you all feel overwhelmed about the amount of information that you all are exposed to every day? Does it ever feel like it's hard to focus? Yeah, right? The more information that we have, the harder it is to stay focused on what really matters. The world around us is full of noise, distractions, and endless options. But what ultimately determines our success is where we place our attention, where we choose to focus. And that's what I want to talk about today overall. How focus, amidst all the noise, can shape your careers, your personal growth, and ultimately your success. I want to start by sharing my own story. Just a few years ago, I was in a very different place than I am today. I wasn't at IBM. I wasn't pursuing my master's at Cornell. And I wasn't leading transformative projects in tech. Instead, I was at a call center, juggling a new marriage and work with school, without any clear direction of what was happening or focus. Like many of us, I was just trying to get by, hoping that somehow things would just fall into place. But as you all probably know, things don't just fall into place. At that time, I was working in full-time and going to school part-time. The reality, I wasn't focused. I wasn't focused on school. I wasn't focused on work or my life. I was distracted by all these opportunities on the side, the so-called side hustle. And I thought that side hustle was going to change my life. In 2019, I had this idea that I could juggle everything, and I was chasing after these side gigs. And they took me across the country and actually overseas. I went to China, went to Wyoming, California, all for what I thought was going to contribute to my future. And I even told myself, no, I'm not getting distracted. I'm making money. I'm providing for my family. And I convinced myself that this is part of the path to success for me. And school wasn't going to make a difference. But here's the thing. I wasn't focused. I thought I was moving forward, but in reality, I was just spinning in place. My attention was scattered, my energies were divided, and my goals were not clear. And it all caught up to me one day. But before, have any of you all experienced a setback or some significant stop in a goal? How were you all able to overcome that? Think about that. By the end of December 2019, the semester, I had flunked all of my classes for the third time. And just to be clear, I had not failed once, nor twice, but 3 times. My distractions, the things that I thought were going to be contributing to my focus, were actually tearing it apart. And I still remember the night my wife asked me how the semester went. I tried to give a long list of reasons of why I wasn't able to get school done. But the disappointment on her face was devastating. And this wasn't the first time that I let her down. And I could see she was losing trust in me as a provider, as a partner, and as someone who could build a future. And it crushed me. I had to sit down and reflect what was going wrong with my life. I felt like I wasn't establishing a secure future. School was slipping away, and I was just stuck in this cycle of failure. I realized hard truth that day, that I wasn't focusing. I was lost in the noise, chasing everything, but in reality I was accomplishing nothing. And that wasn't even the rock bottom. Things would get way, way worse. But before things got worse, I made a decision that changed everything. But before that, have any of you made the decision to change the approach of what you were doing in life? How were you able to approach that decision? I made a decision one day. That decision was that I needed to focus. I needed to do one thing and do one thing well. Focus is choosing what to pay attention to. Think about that. Focus is choosing what to pay attention to. And at that moment, I chose to pay attention to one thing. And that was learning a valuable skill that could build a future for me and my family. At the call center that I was working at, I had been working on Oracle databases with their cloud platform, and I saw an opportunity in software development. So that same month, I made a decision, a commitment. I bought courses, textbooks, videos, and I decided from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every night for 4 hours, I would focus on only full stack development. And it wasn't just like a half-hearted attempt. I was all in. I was shutting off the noise, closing the door on distractions, and putting every single bit of energy that I had in mastering this one skill. And then 2020 hit. The pandemic shook the world, and not only was COVID-19 changing everything, my wife was expecting her first child. And by May, I was let go from my job. 1 week before my birthday, actually. So there was 25 years old, no job, a pregnant wife, no education, no insurance, no clear future. I had nothing but one thing: focus. I made a choice that instead of being overwhelmed with everything that was happening, I would stay locked in on the skill that I committed on mastering. Every night I continued to sit and focus, and that focus became my way forward. Five months into teaching myself full stack development, I had built a skill set that I thought I could work with. I had experience in tech support, in system administration, and I thought that could give me an edge. So I started applying to different positions for the software developer role. And day after day, I sent out applications, I revised my resume, I crafted a bunch of cover letters, but the rejections just kept coming. Or worse, there was no response at all. And time was running out. I needed a job. I needed to provide for my family. And I hadn't even told my wife that I was unemployed. The weight of the world was pressing on me. And I thought pretending to go to work would be way better than stressing her out about not having to work for our family. Every morning I got dressed up and acted like everything was okay. I would leave the house, but I didn't know how long I could do this. And I knew time was running out. I tried to buy time, but it was hard. At that point, other than focus, I was really holding on through faith. When you guys are at your lowest, what keeps you guys going? Is it something bigger than yourself? What pushes you when you're in a difficult moment? Is it family? Is it faith? Or what is it? I believe deeply in God, in the teachings of Jesus Christ found in this Bible and in the scriptures of my faith. I knew that I needed help beyond more than what I could do on my own. In my desperation, I decided to go all in. I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. Fasting, for those who don't know, is more than just going without food or water for 24 hours. It's a way to sharpen your spiritual focus, humble yourself, and seek answers from God. Normally, like I mentioned, it's 24 hours for no food or water, and the money that you would have spent on the meals goes to donations for the needy. But this time I wasn't just fasting for a day. I decided to fast for 3 days, 72 hours, no food or water. I was desperate, and I knew that the only thing that I could do was lean on my faith and put all of my energy in God. By the third day, I was physically drained. I remember I could barely get out of bed, and I remember waking up that morning, my feet touching the ground and my legs almost giving out because I had no energy. My body was weak, but my spirit was strong. I knew I couldn't go on any longer, so I decided it was time to finish the fast. I gathered whatever strength I could, sat down and prayed. And it was the most sincere prayer I'd ever had. I thanked God, not just for the good, but for everything, for the struggles, for the failures, for the disappointments, because they had shaped me. I was grateful for every single experience that brought me up to that point. And I only asked for one thing. If it was His will, for the welfare of my soul and for my family, to provide a way to provide and protect and sustain my family. So I surrendered my future to my God, and I ended my fast at noon. At that point, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I felt peace, knowing that I'd done everything I could. And then it happened. At 5 p.m., just 5 hours after I finished my fast, an email came. And it wasn't just an email, it was a call and then another call. And finally, I had a job offer for a software development role. It was from a company role that I had applied before the fast, one of many that I had sent out. And this time it wasn't the rejection I was expecting, it was that offer letter. And I can't explain to you all, ladies and gentlemen, the overwhelming feeling I had of gratitude and thankfulness in that moment. It was like the entire weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders. But to me, the job was more than just employment. It was a sign that through focus, faith, and perseverance, focus, all of this could change my life. Focus is what can take you to anywhere you want to go and help you accomplish whatever you want to do. So after I received the job offer and my wife gave birth to our first child, things started to get better. Things were turning around. I could finally breathe. The weight of uncertainty was lifted, and I could see the fruits of all my labor, all of the hard work and focus that I invested throughout those 6 months. Everything was covered. I had a job, I had my family, and I had a possible future. And that was the question was left. When the dust settles, when the crisis ends, what's next? Right? What is going to overcome me for the next? What's going to help me overcome the next challenge? And this time, I started to look back into my identity, the values that shaped me as a person. I realized that I had values given to me that helped push me to where I was at that time. And I knew I had to keep focusing on these values to attain my potential. At that moment, I realized that I wasn't working just for a paycheck. I was at a place that could take me to where I wanted to go. It wasn't just about personal success. It was about reaching heights that my family had never seen before. I had opportunity to break new ground. And through the culture and family that was given to me, I was able to do that. So I want to share with you some of that cultural value and values that I gained that I believe helped me through that as well. So both of my grandfathers, they made a difficult decision to leave their countries, Ecuador and Mexico, to come to the United States in search of a better future. They didn't just come here for themselves. They came with a focus, and that focus transcended themselves. They wanted to provide an opportunity for their children, an opportunity that they didn't have. Both of them found work in New York City. They took on multiple jobs as janitors, as handymen, doing whatever was necessary to survive and to provide for their family. How many of you are here due to the sacrifices of your family? Have you guys ever stopped to think about everything that they did for you all? My parents, they grew up watching the sacrifice. They didn't see much of their fathers, even though they lived under the same roof. My parents have told me stories of waking up just to hear their fathers come in after a long day, and a few hours later just waking up to see them go. My own grandfather has told me stories that winters in New York, he would leave before sunset, work all day, and be home after sunset. He would go days without feeling the sun touch his skin. But they had the focus, they had relentless effort and admiration and energy. Unfortunately, my father also had to do the same. He worked 2 jobs. He worked from 9 to 5, and then from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m., he would go deliver newspapers. I remember the summer nights where we would go and help him finish the newspaper round so he could have some more time to rest before his full-time shift. We weren't rich with money, but we were rich in focus. And they never let go on that dream of providing for us. This legacy of my family, of giving us this relentless effort, was instilled in me. My parents didn't have a luxury of just being distracted as we are today. They had to focus their attention. And that's the idea. Focus is choosing what to pay attention to. My family focused on what mattered most, providing for their family, striving for something better, and creating a better future for us. But I didn't want to do the same thing. I didn't want to just work 2 jobs. I knew I had the focus in my blood, but I didn't want to use that focus just to survive. I wanted to thrive. I wanted to build something greater, something that would take my family to a place that we'd never been before. I already had the full-time job lined up, and I wanted that second job. but not a job that would pay me immediately, but one that would pay off for the long run. I decided to focus that energy in something that would build a foundation for my future, for my family's future. What do you think that second job was? It was my education. I decided to treat my education as a full-time job, specifically software engineering and tech. Even though I wasn't getting paid for it, actually was paying for it, going to school, all the resources, but I knew the money would come later. Only if I put in the time and effort. I wasn't going to be content with just being average. I was determined that I was going to be the best that I could be in the field and put in as much time as I possibly could, gaining credentials, pushing myself to the next level. Are any of you here aiming to be average? Or are you striving to be the best that you can do in your career? What are you guys doing to get there? After the birth of my son, I had time to settle in my new job and also learn the tasks that come with being a father. With the weight of uncertainty lifted off my shoulders, I had a choice. The spring semester was coming, January 2021, and I found myself at a crossroads. Would I follow through on that commitment that I made to focus on my education and being the best that I could possibly be, even with the added responsibilities of the new job, the fatherhood? And I decided I was going to do it. I enrolled in Northern Virginia Community College, determined to keep focus, be sharp, and get what I needed to get done. Studies weren't easy, but focus is choosing what to pay attention to, and I had made that choice. I wasn't going to let distractions derail me. So I put in the late nights, I studied after work, and by the end of the fall semester of that year, I was able to complete my associates in science and computer science. And it wasn't just a credential to me. It was proof of my ability to stay focused despite the challenges that I went through. With over a year of software development experience, 4 years previously working on federal IT contracts, I was able to land another job at Prime AI. This was a role that pushed me to my limits. I was working in a fast-paced environment of a startup, and I had to quickly adapt to this role and the demands. Focus was essential for this role. Prime AI required me not to just excel through my 9-to-5 job, but to continue building my. And that's why with focus, you can't achieve anything. You need that sustained focus. I had to commit to that constant growth with Prime AI. So I would finish my day at work, I would put my kids to bed, and I would study for industry certifications night after night, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. CompTIA, Security Plus, Network Security Plus, AWS, developer certifications, GCP, engineering certifications. The work was grueling, the tests were very demanding, but I knew that focus was the key to getting ahead. I wasn't just going to check boxes. I wanted to be the best. I completed the certifications and the exams in record time. And with a year at Prime AI, with the certifications, which were my credentials, I was able to double the income that I had pre-COVID. I found a new job at a small consulting firm called Rocket Partner in Georgia. And it was clear as crystal to me at that point. Focus combined with education can take you to new heights. So 2022, with this new role and the birth of my second son approaching, I decided to pursue my bachelor's degree at Western Governors University. I chose it because it had an online format that was flexible, that would help me juggle work with school. But flexibility doesn't mean easy. I was able to work full-time, take care of my children, and get the job done with school. With these moments, I realized focus helps us turn off the distractions. Because during this time, there were many distractions. The demand of work, the demand of fatherhood, calls from social groups, and one of the biggest for me was that temptation to rest. But I stayed on the path, and I was able to complete my bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. How do you all deal with distractions? Do you all use strategies that help you shut off the distractions and focus on your goals and on your tasks? With my new degree, with the certifications, and now with the 3 years of experience that I had, I was able to land a job at IBM as a DevSecOps Engineer. So in just a few years, 3 years, I had quadrupled my income pre-COVID, quadrupled. And it wasn't just luck. It is an end result of the focus, the decision to invest in education, treat it as a second job, and treat it to be the best that I could possibly be. To me, there's a clear, undeniable correlation between getting credentials, education, and growing in the tech industry. At IBM, I've been able to work with incredible clients, tackle complex tasks, and grow. But I didn't even stop with just that. In 2023, I decided that I would pursue a master's in engineering, specifically at Cornell University in systems engineering. I'm now a year into my program, and as I graduate next year, and I look forward into the doors and opportunities that will open once I gain my master's degree. So this journey from struggling with focus to now an engineer at IBM has been an incredible opportunity that taught me focus. Focus isn't just what you do. Focus is what you don't do. It's where you decide to place your energy and double down again and again until you see the results. What I've learned throughout all of this is that success doesn't come from just doing everything. It's about doing the right stuff well. It's not about jumping from one opportunity to the other. It's about becoming the best in what you do. Every degree, every certification was a step forward. And it wasn't easy, and it wasn't fast. But by staying focused, I was able to focus on what mattered most. I was able to build a career that I dreamed about. And that's the message I wanted to leave with you all today. When you focus on something, when you focus on being the best, on your education, you can break through barriers that you never thought were possible. Because focus is the foundation. And with it, you can go further than you ever thought. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope that this story was able to be of some help for you. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Few questions, right?
Yep, a few questions. Anyone have questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Questions, sorry. Got nervous. Any questions? I know it wasn't technical. I was told to be a bunch of students, so I just wanted to relate with everyone and really motivate our student body to know that anything's possible.
Yeah. What were some of your study methods, during your intense focus? Like when you decided, okay, I'm gonna, just intensely focus, become a software engineer. How did you start? What were some of your ways of studying?
One was communicating with my wife. I said, babe, I'm gonna be gone from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. iPhone has a focus app or a focus feature where you can just turn it on. And it's really just sitting down and zooming in and just getting it done. At that time, I was in an apartment. They had a little computer lab, and no one was in there from 9 p.m.
Right.
So it was just straight drilling into that information. So yeah, communication with your significant other if you have one, and just shutting the door. It's just like distraction is like a tunnel distraction is like a door. You can close it or you can open it. If you close it, nothing can come in. So trying to shut off all those possible doors you can focus. Great question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Congratulations on your accomplishments.
Thank you.
Yeah, just curious about how you see the world now that you're a systems engineer. You know, you're in a role in Cornell. Like, what do you see possible now that with your newfound knowledge?
So systems engineers is looking at systems holistically, right, as one thing, and then breaking it down in parts. As a DevSecOps engineer, I think it's been pivotal in looking at the way software interacts with users, with infrastructure, with developers. If you're able to look at your source code as a system and all the different things that interact with that system, you're able to plan non-functional requirements. You're able to plan delivery. You're able to plan disaster recovery, all of these things that beforehand, maybe this isn't for all software developers, but I feel like you were given a list of requirements and it was like, go, get this done. Obviously within certain criteria, but this is these are the requirements, get it done. And then your senior engineer would look at it and so on and so forth. But with systems, you really look at the needs of the user. You look at the needs, the requirements of the user and how that interacts with the existing infrastructure, the existing source code, and the services that you provide. So it's a really well-rounded, addition to what I've learned the past 4 years. And I invite many of you to look into systems thinking. It's in design thinking. It's an approach that focuses on the customer/client, and through that, building your needs, your requirements, and ultimately a system, which could be anything, service, that will get your client what they've asked for, what they're looking for. You and then you. Sorry, I don't know the names, but yes.
Have you read Thinking in Systems?
I'm pretty sure that was one of the textbooks, if I'm not mistaken.
It's by a lovely woman named Danella. It's a very good book.
Okay.
I'd recommend it to
Great
everybody.
book, yeah.
It's insane. Basically, like the premise of the book is that every system has 3 components. You have an input, something is being fed in, like there's an input. Then there is like a function, something that happens.
The black box.
And then there is an output.
Yeah.
So like everything in the universe has like 3 parts. Input, something happens.
I always read as much as I can. I understand the idea of black box, where you kind of put something in, something happens, and then the output. And that probably helps with microservices, with the idea that everything is a service, something has to come in, something has to come out. So that's definitely helpful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Hey, congrats on your achievement.
Thank you.
How has DevSecOps changed pre and post LLMs?
How has DevSecOps changed pre-LLMs and post-LLMs? What I've seen well, I was at IBM post-LLM, but what I would say is what I'm seeing what we do now with our clients is we're really focusing on the current infrastructure that we have and how we can use LLMs for logs. It's called SysOps, and it's also, the ops is kind of a big, buzzword, but I believe it's called SysOps. And what we're able to do is ingest logs, pass them through trained LLMs that are able to identify pre-emergency, current emergency, so that we can fix that infrastructure. That's one use case that I've seen. Another key that I've seen, we have this feature that is able to pull existing infrastructure, depending on the cloud. So let's say you're on AWS, run the package through getting your credentials and all of the necessary configurations, and then through LLM training, invert that into actual configuration as code. So infrastructure as code, not just, if you're probably aware of Terraform or Kubernetes control plane, but it's kind of like in reverse engineering in a way that it sets that infrastructure up so you can save a lot of time with that. So that's trained through LLMs from what I've seen as well. Yeah, there's probably more use cases, but those are two that stick out for me. What I use it for all the time is just to get things done. Right now, I'm leading a project in converting our Docker delivery and deployments into Kubernetes. So that's been really big because Kubernetes is basically a way to deploy and maintain your services. It's a big conversion from Docker to Kubernetes, and I've been using more Claude. I don't know if you all use Claude. ChatGPT kind of started getting slow on me, but I've been using that to just try to figure out how to translate or transpose our current delivery and deployment into Kubernetes ecosystem.
Are you like learning like Kubernetes, or is like, because from what I've seen, Docker can be used like in Kubernetes. It's not like a replacement. It's kind of like a elevation per se. Like you can use, so most times Kubernetes, like the nodes, individual nodes in a network are Docker containers. So you could scale up a single Docker like 5,000 times or however many.
So you mean like a container? You can replicate. Yeah. So we're using Docker Compose. That uses a specific container runtime. I think it's container D. And the idea with what we're trying to do with the Kubernetes is not just stand up the same containers that are being done with the image files. We are trying to, I had the answer when you were talking, but you can't just say Docker image, stand up a container, interact with all the other services, which are like 100, and hopefully it works out. There's DNS, there's roles, there's secrets. Sorry?
VPCs.
Sorry?
VPCs.
VPCs. Yeah, there's a bunch of different infrastructure, and it's like I've read the documentation where it's like, yeah, like I think it's like it's an interesting acronym that it'll convert it to Kubernetes. It's usually documentation is never. I don't know if any of you guys here are engineers. I'm assuming a lot of you are. Documentation never actually does what it says it's going to do unless you have to figure things out. But since we're at IBM, we're focusing on Redshift, OpenShift as well, which is like a Kubernetes distro. So yeah. But any other questions? Great questions, by the way. Technical. Those are the fun ones.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years, and where do you see yourself in 20?
That's a long time. 10 years. Hopefully, I don't have another kid. That's for sure. I got 3 now. Maybe they were coming the past 4 years. But I see myself as a leader for an engineering team. I really enjoy the aspects of focusing on a project and pushing my teammates to get the job done. I love contributing, and I love to see the end result. So I feel like if I can influence that through my leadership and through the experience that I've had, I think I can make a major impact with the clients that we work with and in the companies that I contribute with. So that'd be 10 years, hopefully a manager by 10, and hopefully 20, maybe where you are one day, Aaron. Hopefully be helping other people like me getting into tech, getting into AI, getting into this space that is increasingly innovative and interesting, helping out my community in 20 years. Well, I'll be doing it throughout, but really focusing on just that. 20 years.
That's correct. Good job.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your inspiring story. I was wondering whether you've ever thought about giving a TED talk for young kids to see that kind of message on the focus.
I don't know. I don't know if it went well. I'll have to see the video beforehand. If it was good enough, then maybe. I'm really nervous with just 30 people. I can't imagine.
No, it was definitely good enough. And I think
Okay, I'll see how to do that. Thank you very much. Those are very kind words. Thank you very much. Yeah, if I can help anybody, that would be the objective, to help other people learn that they can do anything they can. All right. Thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate your attention, and continue working hard for your goals and focus. Put your attention to where it matters most.
Thank you so much, Carlos.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. I think we've all learned a lot. One more round of applause for Carlos, please. I have to say this, I was focused that entire time, because it was really, I think a lot of us can relate to a story like that of how some of us got into tech, where, we wanted to change our lives. And that's what an institution like Miami-Dade College can do for everyone here and for everyone around the world, right? Institutions like this can allow people to get into tech and into a new future, to change their lives. And that's what it's all about. So thank you again for inspiring the community and for inspiring the world through our YouTube live stream, etc., where a lot of people around the world are watching. And so now let's also talk about where we're going for our next presentation. We want to not only inspire the community, inspire the world, show people great institutions like Miami-Dade College, but we also want to show you how AI is being used in our daily lives and how technology is being used by great people like Vlad, Budichenko. And I just want to first share a little bit about what GPTuesdays is about. GPTuesdays is an AI weekly AI event where we bring together the best AI engineers, researchers, developers, entrepreneurs, and AI enthusiasts, but now also students looking to learn more about AI. We bring everyone together so that we can stay ahead of AI wave of change, because everything is moving so very fast. And so we need to learn from one another. And I sincerely believe that the conversations that happen within this room can shape the very future of this world. Because everything is moving so fast, we can go ahead and work together and build the next generation of products, the next leaders of tomorrow. So I want to bring up to the stage Vlad Budichenko, where he's going to be talking about, amazing. He's going to be talking about hyper-personalization using AI and data. AI and data. So we're going to go ahead and just take one moment to set up real quick, and then we'll get started. That's right, hyper-personalized outreach using data and AI. So it looks like we're on the stage. Do you have the shared link?
I don't know.
Okay, so go to present. Perfect. Yes.
Stop screen, I already sharing screen.
Let me check
Oh, sorry. I think as much of it as it could, but I had to take.
Perfect. This is exactly what I want to see. And then also, we'll go ahead and do this.
So 2 microphones or just, okay.
And then if you want to just mute the tab here.
Unmute already, muted.
But you want to mute your tab too for the, because of the.
Oh, it's blocked.
Okay.
We're gonna get out of
Good
here.
to go.
So you can't say what you I think I have to stay because they want me to join the class.
Can you hear me or should I use microphone?
No.
Okay, I will use it. Hi everyone. I will talk about hyper-personalization outreach using data and AI. It was initially about outreach and communication, but I shrink it because we have 2 speakers. So it will be a little bit shorter. So I'm Vlad, I'm software engineer, like founder of Vocaly AI, AWS architect, AI enthusiast, whatever. I like sport, I like doing different stuff even underwater, and I like coding a lot everywhere. So it's short story about me. So what we are going to talk today about. So here's an agenda of how you usually can do your outreach, particularly mostly cold outreach. So when you want to, let's say, to start selling your product or providing like some services, like for agency or like your services or B2B product, you need to start like providing value and services to people, and you need somehow to outreach them. So yeah, there are different ways, but one of them is particularly like this cold outreach. So I will talk a little bit about that because like with founding company, I'm full tech founder, so I didn't know anything about it. And I started to investigate, experiment, and here's like what I discovered, how you can do those stuff using like public data, AI, and not only public data. So first you need list building. It's to whom you will send something, then identify how you will send, what you will say, particularly for personalization, you can use public data, and how it will look like. So it's about media and what you can use. So yeah, those are parts that we will talk about. So first is like list building. So it answers simple question, who? Like, who will you go with? So first simple idea you can use, it's like just buy. So you can just buy those lists, databases, whatever, wherever. It's like a lot of tools, a lot of like non-public tools. You can use Zoom Info, Apollo, Upleads, like a lot of stuff you can use. You just pay money, you get those leads. So trade-offs, sometimes it's like low quality, outdated, but relatively take the fastest way you can use it. And you can like buy million databases for kind of not so expensive. Second one is like build those lists. So it's when you like go through your potential ideal customers, try to research their websites, or like ask some freelancers, virtual assistants to, okay, I need those people somewhere, I need like marketing, like CMOs or someone, and you start building those lists, discover data. So there are like, mostly it's like human-based work, and you can also use like different tools to discover their like personal data, like emails or LinkedIn. And the last one is to scrape, but not that scrape. It means when you like start going through the data in internet and you aggregate it into something like spreadsheets, Excels, whatever. So basically, the most popular sources are like LinkedIn. So you can scrape LinkedIn a lot. You can scrape Facebook, especially Facebook groups. So a common way when you, let's say your like ideal customers are beauty salon owners, and there are like Facebook group with beauty salon owners with 100,000 salon owners, you can scrape those like profiles and put it into a spreadsheet and do a lot of beautiful stuff with it. Also job boards, if you're like, I don't know, with in HR, like Google reviews, Google Maps, whatever. A lot of sources depending on businesses. So, okay, we built our list. Okay, we have tons of, or not of tons of, like our people or companies we want to reach to. Now we need to decide, okay, how we will send something to them. So it's much simpler, shorter, like you can do like email, you can do LinkedIn, you can do like calls, probably like some other like messaging. It's not the best way to do that because it's, especially in US, not always legal, without work always. So yeah. But other than that, especially emails can work okay. LinkedIn, perfect. Calls, like US people love calls. Not in my country, we don't like that. But yeah, a lot of tools you can use. Like I like LandList. I use them for like big workflow. So it's like you can mix those sources, not sources, but ways of communicating. So you can send email. If person didn't respond, you can send the invite to LinkedIn. After that, send something to LinkedIn if it provides invite. If not, you can call them and you can build those workflows. It's pretty seamlessly and much more automated. So like 5 years ago, you would spend like days for what you can now set up for a few hours. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. After that, you can start like gathering and aggregating the data about like those big list of companies, potential customers, and so on. So this one answers another questions and is what to say, like your messaging, what to use, and why. Like basically why you reach those people, because that's, as I discovered, an important part. You need to provide reasoning. Why do you write or call those people? Because without that, you will, best way, they will say nothing. Yeah, and first thing I wanted to focus on is like triggers. So triggers is when something happened, we can initiate some like action or message or whatever. So a trigger can be anything, like, I don't know, some breaking news, any event in some company, I don't know, job change, post in LinkedIn, whatever. So something happened and you can you can be triggered because of that and like start action. So a lot of tools to do that, but like I list a few of them. I like especially first two at the top I mentioned, because you can build a lot on top of them, because Google Alerts, particularly like also like Google News, but Google Alerts is basically you can subscribe to words that happen somewhere in Google, and they will just send you emails with those words. Similar for F5 bot, a cool stuff does absolutely same. So you subscribe to words and they do scrape events on Reddit, Hacker News, and Lobsters. So it's like if you're like focusing on tech or like Reddit, it's about anything. So forums about whatever people talk. So you can just subscribe to those words and get updates and alerts when someone starts talking or have questions about particular keywords you are interested in. And based on that, I will show like you can build like cool automations and ways to outreach people. Next part, like after triggers, you need to gather also data about your people or companies, whatever, and like a lot of sources you can use. You can check the data, what technology do they use or what tools. Especially like simplest example is when you provide like whatever to e-commerce, and like let's say you integrate with Shopify, you provide some services to Shopify agencies, or not agencies, owners of some shops on Shopify or whatever. You want like all companies, products, whatever, who build on Shopify. So simplest way. Or you provide security services for someone on AWS, so you probably would be interested in companies that use AWS in their infrastructure, whatever. You can like use whatever public data in the web. So I love Perplexity because of that, because you can simply specify like it's, if someone doesn't know, like it's similar to OpenAI ChatGPT, but for like that is backed by a lot of Google's, a lot of crawled and scraped data in internet. So it's like Google with LLM. So, and it has its API, and so you can connect it to your workflow and enrich your data with a lot of things that can be discovered in Google. Rapid, a lot of different API from many sources. You can also use Epify, whatever, scraping tool. 6 Sense, it's, on the previous slide, I mentioned thing called dark funnels. It's tricky thing when like big companies, especially review companies like G2, whatever, they know what different companies and different people do on their website, and probably they can identify some data about those people or those companies looking for some solution, and it's kind of hidden data that they collect and they sell it. So if you need particular, like, you provide some service and you want big enterprise company, whatever, you can buy the data, like 6 Sense does that. And I like this icon, Phantom Buster, like just a tool for scraping. And yeah, like a lot of data to scrape on social media, on like different news, like new positions, search intent, like tags they use, and like latest posts. So yeah, a lot of data can be found. And what you can use it for. So you have a lot of data, you have like some triggers, you have lists, so you can start building automations like this one. So a few like no-code platforms that you can use for automation I mentioned. I've used, like, as a tech background, I sometimes don't like this. I prefer write something own. So, but anyway, it's no-code platforms like drag and drop stuff, n8n, make.com, Zapier. They do pretty same. So you can build workflows. And what you can build. So a simple automation, you can imagine, it's like, you look for, in my case, for like Vocaly, I was thinking about simple automation when, as we provide like a solution for automating phone calls. So it solves a problem when someone needs to have like a call center representative or someone who can like receive phone calls to their services. So, I have Indeed, it's job board, and when someone posts on Indeed, I get it triggered. So the same you can do with like whatever trigger system you want. It will provide your email with, here's something happened. After that, you can scrape data about this event. So, I know this company has this job open. So I can find information about this particular company, find like owners or like C-level management or like hiring person in my case. And I can probably after that scrape their LinkedIn profile about if I want something. And I have the data now. After that, it's like pretty straightforward. So you can use whatever like LLM, like in this case, I just put OpenAI, but it can be whatever, Anthropic, I don't know. And you, based on your data, based on your event, you create a like personalized message. So, XYZ, I saw your, like, the reason why I'm writing you, I saw a post, you are looking for such person, I think like, we have a good solution for you, whatever, you can provide a quote, you can provide whatever, and it will be much more personalized that people spend a lot of time on such stuff. And such type of messages, such kind of hyper-personalized when you have a lot of known data to this person, it will have much higher reply rate than 0. And you just use whatever platform you like for sending messages. So SendGrid is not the best one for cold messages, but a lot of stuff you can use. So it's just one of such trigger-based automation you can try, but also you can enrich with data and do just outreach campaign for some, like, using some tools I will show you a little bit later. So this was about like more like, okay, I will send some text messages, like not text, but email with just text. So, but we can add right now more like data and meta and answer question not only, okay, I will read something, but studies show that and surveys show that, okay, some kind of C-level executives and people usually prefer to like watch videos and like read a lot of text, so they prefer that. So we can try to use this information to increase our apply rates. So third thing we can do, it's like a little bit simpler, it's like personalized images and GIFs. So as we already have a lot of data, it can include company logos, it can include names, whatever, so we can start using them for our images or GIFs. So here I just collected few good, not good ones from different platforms. So like here we use like, oh yeah, you see the mouse? No, yeah, you see. So here I like use like logos of people. Here you can see on a GIF like a name. Here we use like our logo and logo of a company and name of a company. So like logo is a visual something like people from the company definitely know and they can recognize it fast. And here is like also an example from Lemlist I mentioned. So they provide such similar GIFs for, okay, I prepared the video for you, but like video is not personalized, but GIF for the video is personalized. And yeah, it's pretty like a few platforms provide this opportunity, particularly like Lemlist. So, but what we can do right now using AI, it's much more interesting. It's like personalized videos. So here, like I've shared few particularly focus on like more like outreach, but like also, you know, HeyGen, you can use it also for personalized videos. But those I really like those one, especially like SensePark and. If I'm not mistaken, it was like hypo video. So what you can do, you can record once some video message you want to share, like, hey, GPT Tuesday, I wanted to present you something today, blah, 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 blah. And after that, in this greeting section, instead of GPT Tuesday, it will substitute this GPT Tuesday with whatever personalization you want. So let's say I want to share with Nick from company ABC. I want to share some message, the same one, but it will substitute GPT Tuesday and say, hey Nick, I want to present you something. And a cool thing that is like also a good recognizable is when you put on the background the personal website. Like not personal, but company. So it's something you can identify very fast and you start to assume, okay, I saw this, I probably need to click and see the video. And yeah, I like how it sounds. If it's like, I'm not sure if the sound is connected.
Hope you have
Oh yeah, but like, if you would like, I can play it later, but the basic idea, yeah, like it will provide some kind of similar Loom video with just recorded this part. So when you record like yourself messaging something, it will substitute personalization with name and whatever, and it will put this website background, like you're scrolling it, you're doing your like research about the company. And yeah, it sounds really cool. It seems like you really try to provide something particular for them. And yeah, that's like a great thing I've played around. And no, we don't hear it. And yeah, so that was short part about that. So if you want, I can also show a few things like tools, how you can like use some tools like I like Clay for creating and enriching data in tables. But if not, yeah, if we don't have time, I can like stop here and like answer questions. Yep, probably a lot of interesting stuff.
This time I'm alert, so we can have the microphone if anybody has questions. Everybody has questions?
Hello, I have a question.
Okay, you're going second?
Thanks, Vlad, for the talk. Co-founders want it for what? Can you say a little bit more about that?
Oh yeah, I like building stuff. As I mentioned, right now I'm working on phone call automation and like think with AI that can answer calls that I provided example for. And yeah, I'm just looking for people to partner or co-found it with to build this stuff. But anyway, like cool friends, whatever, I like to be part of different communities. So just, yeah, want to connect.
Hey, what's up, Vlad?
Hey. Doing great.
So I got caught in a torrential downpour because the data centers that, since we turned into coffee petroleum, actually boiled the ocean. But could you give me the too many didn't see summary of what this was about?
Oh, yeah. So, like, here I can, oh, this is cool. GIFs. So, summary. So, we discovered, like, how for outreach, how to gather, like, and scrape people to build lists to whom you want to sell something or to, like, partner something, whatever, to outreach, how to send this data, like, what to say using, like, publicly available or not always publicly available data, and, like, how it can look like if you use some AI and such stuff. So it's basically how you can use data and AI to do like this personalized, hyper-personalized outreach. And like I like those penguins. Sorry? No.
Yeah, over here.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to give a quick compliment. I saw the landing page you did for Vocaly AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. So.
Oh, thanks.
Good job. Hi, all.
Hey.
Could you go back to the automation slide, please? Yeah, so currently I'm using this automation, very similar automation in my company very often. So my question is, we receive a lot of errors here. So do you do it manually? So first of all, you go to Google Others and download the data, then go to Perplexity, download the data, then go to OpenAI, etc. Or you make a full optimization using Zapier or your own script.
Oh yeah, exactly. So here's like at the top, you can see like few automation platform you can use for that. So it's basically not to do this manually, but whenever you get an alert, you automatically get this alert. It triggers some workflow on whatever platform you use, like let's say make.com. And after that, it scrapes the data you need for your particular workflow. It depends on like your ideal customer profile and what do you provide and what is your campaign. It scrapes the data and it creates a message and it sends it. So it's automatic.
Okay, interesting. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Vlad. That was really incredible. I have a few questions. One, I was wondering if you might have some examples for when we're done that you were talking about maybe showing. And two, I also was wondering, so with the voice automation, right? Are you using Land AI? Are you using Mappy? What's kind of your process for that? And also, what are some examples, maybe some use cases that you're using it for, and some prompts that you might use for said use cases?
Oh, yeah. So regarding to show automation, I didn't, as I mentioned, I've built some kind of, so it's more about like code. So I'm not sure I can show you something that is easy to show because it's kind of like just coded. I code like different stuff like this. But one thing I can show for enriching data, I like this tool Clay. So it's basically if you are like want like no code stuff and you already have some lists, basically you can scrape it. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's probably good thing here. So here's like, let's say I have few companies here and I want to outreach somehow them. So I already added here like technologies they use, but here they basically they have this idea as a back, so they added integration with a lot of scraping tools, with a lot of data providers, just to enrich their this list data. So let's say you have 5 companies and you want to, I don't know, let's say industry investors, job board, whatever, like news. You want to enrich with some latest news about them. So you like just as a table view required input. Okay, latest news, and you start adding fields to those to your table. So it's basically how you can start like enriching your data without like knowing code, knowing how to like integrate whatever. It's pretty straightforward, built for like sales. So you can see like for service bell.com, just some random company, I don't know. They have this like 45 minutes ago link to some app news, Harrison Trump to get ready for landmark debate. But okay, here like that prompt. So it's an example of how you can like enrich this data with automation. Difficult to show. I think if you're interested, I can like separately show. And what was one?
I mean, that covered a lot. Thank you. That was very cool. So Clay essentially allows you to essentially have a table. You can enrich the data by essentially clicking around buttons. For example, according to the latest news from said company. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of, they use this idea of Airtable of Excel. So it's pretty, just a spreadsheet, you put like companies and you start using like different tools they integrated with. Like, okay, I've mentioned them during like presentation. So you can, okay, what technologies they use? What was latest posts? What were like their, I don't know, a lot of information you can use depending on like your intent. Regarding calls, it's the first problem, I don't know, because like you cannot do cold call with AI in US. That's a problem. Yeah, so just human based stuff. So the example I provided for for workflows, it's if it gets to a certain point when you want to call, it just it can connect to your like call center tool, or you can manually see you need to call this lead, something like that. But at least as far as I know, AI cold call, whatever it is, it's illegal in US at the moment. Probably you can use it for some other countries.
Right. Yeah, it's very useful for her to know that cold calling in the US with AI is not advised since this thing is at least, but for inbound, it's as long as you have TCPA, you're usually good. So thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
Great presentation. In your own experience, so my understanding, using all these tools increase the customer acquisition cost, but increases effectiveness, right? So in your own experience, how much your client is supposed to work for you to make it worse, like because you're spending money on all these tools, right? To make it personalized for that.
Oh, it depends. So yeah, it depends on like your product. It's mostly for B2B. I'm not sure how exactly you can use it for B2C. I have some like cases in dating industries for like email marketing, but basically it's mostly for B2B. So usually in B2B you have like high ticket like clients, and it means you can like you have this margin like so you can spend on like sales initiatives. So for example, one guy with whom we like discuss something similar. So he used information for triggers. It's like earning calls, 10K, 10Q reports, and there are sales. They sell for enterprises, and they spend like 4 hours per lead, like per one company. And they just need to go through that report, identify what can they provide to them, like what is like similarity or difference with competitors. And so to craft an email sounds like, hey, someone as your CEO or CFO quoted in your latest earning report and put a quote there, you have like this 5% decrease in your like year-to-year sales. And it takes 4 hours for like sales who earn like, I don't know, let's say, I don't know prices for sales, but $30 per hour, or I don't know. So it means like it's costs to create one such outreach to probably a few people, like over $100. So those tools cost definitely less, and yeah, it helps to save time, or at least to save time and increase your reply rate. So basically.
Any estimate on like what's like for you to set up if you want to start reaching out to people? What's the lowest base usually cost to set up?
Oh, it's basically let me return back. So this tool is free. This tool is almost free. So it costs like for 10K operation. So you can set up it for free, but like 10K operation costs $10 per month. So those tools depends on volume. So it means like Perplexity is cheap. I put there like 30 or $50 a few months ago, still there. So OpenAI relatively cheap. Here, yeah, you can have some costs here, but those costs also around 50 to $100 for sending. And like depending on platforms, so probably cheaper, some of them. But we talk to like if you set up everything by yourself and play around that. So we talk about like $100 to $200 per month of cost that can like at least save you time, a lot of time. Even if you want, let's say you don't want to send those messages, but you want to create whatever. And let's say once a day you want to validate what it wrote, and if you like it, send it manually or like with whatever tool. If you don't, a little bit change it and like do your job for outreach much faster. So, but we talk about like $100 to $200 a month, depending on volume and like tools you use. If you outreach tens of thousands of people, it can cost more because those two tools and those automation, depending on like number of leads you want to reach, number of operations, whatever. So usually like enriching is around 2 to 10 cents per one record. Depends on how much and what information do you need.
Really important. Thank you. Anybody else?
Oh. Hey.
Great presentation. Who's your ideal customer for the Vocaly, and what is the primary use case for it?
Primary use case mostly like customer support and a point like front desk, like receptionist and customer support. At the moment, ICP is not so defined. The client we have, like usually we support like home services and I forgot how, like it's not home service, but something like customer services. I forgot how it's called, but yeah, like something like home services, or somewhere, some businesses that has this like inbound calls that they need to answer for either appointment booking, or like insurance companies, like they need provide some kind of common FAQ via phone.
I have a company that's very, very, very similar.
Okay.
Like very similar.
Oh, great
Hey.
presentation. Very simple, easy to digest. My question is similar about your customer profile, but also could a product like yours like replace an engineering team within like non-technical organization? Is it customizable enough to, for example?
Sorry, which product and like what? Okay, but why engineering team?
Like, let's say there's a founder of a company, like a call center company, that wants to hire an engineering team to build voice automation technology.
Okay. I didn't think about that, so it's not so at like late stage that I can say, okay, it can be like easily integrated to an enterprise. But anyway, even for such integration, I believe most of companies hires consultancies to integrate someone who can do that. So probably that answer is no. It cannot substitute. And the first question, I didn't.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, but yeah, that's you know, I'm just trying to because I have people coming to me asking me like, oh, you know, are you the engineer that can create our voice automation technology?
Okay.
So I like to be equipped with the tools to integrate that to the engineering teams. So that's where my question is coming.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like my initial idea, I'm still in like this validation stage. To be, it's more like to skip this engineering part, so it be simple enough to be integrated to like by like non-tech business owner or like customer support representative. So just provide information necessary to handle calls and just be simple to set it up. So like ideal thing is to be something similar to those companies for automation. So kind of no code phone automation. Okay, it looks like no more questions.
Amazing, amazing, as always. Thank you so much. Oh, let me fix this real quick. Is that good? Cool. Thank you so much, Vlad.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, so this is what we do every single week here over at GPTuesdays. We make sure that we bring the most innovative AI to you. We also want to make sure that we inspire the community. And so I believe we were inspired, and we also showed some very, very innovative AI usage and techniques. Raise your hand here if you were inspired and you saw some really cool stuff tonight. Yeah, very nice. The whole hand. Thank you. Amazing, amazing. So yeah, this is a little bit about what we do, and we're very, very happy about our partnership now with Dade College. We're going to be providing weekly events here and making sure that we provide not just AI events and presentations, but also workshops. We want to be able to provide training, not to mention jobs as well in connection with everything that we're providing. We already have a few potential opportunities for machine learning engineers and generative AI engineers in this very room. So feel free to come talk to me after. And speaking of which, next week we are also going to have Shivam. He's Shiv. He just moved here from Toronto. He was a machine learning engineer over at Capital One, and he's going to be talking about some very cool, innovative techniques. So I'll be going ahead and posting that up pretty soon. We'll also be having in the next 2 weeks our partnership with Gen AI Collective, where we'll be having 3 lightning talks one after the other with some of our greatest researchers and intellects. So really looking forward to that. We might be having over 100 people for that event. So it's going to be very exciting. Jose?
Thanks, Brent. I just wanted to plug MTC for a sec here. I just want to give you two stats, two numbers. One is we're about 130,000 students, so it's one of the largest colleges in the US. And the other one that I love is 90% of our students graduate without student debt. So this is an institution I think that's super important in this day and age. This institution that gets people jobs and bang for the buck.
Also, 90% of students will be unemployed due to AI.
Hopefully not. At least not the ones studying AI.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
New jobs are being created every day. New jobs are being created every day.
The ones in there.
Different jobs.
Okay, that was it. So thank you for coming. Hope to see you at the next GPT Tuesday.
Oh, I have a question.
Seriously, this time or you just watching us? Okay, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And I was going to say, let's have some great. Now let's all have some great conversations. Let's all have some great conversations. What was that?
Because we apologize that
Yeah.
it was programmed months ago and next Tuesday is the AI summit.
Oh, in this place?
No, it's a manager. But you know that.
Yeah, I understand.
They
Yeah.
remind you because.
Right. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I understand. It's just the one, right? So.
It's just one.
Right. No worries at
Yeah,
all.
Wednesdays.
Yeah, sounds good. So we could still try to get some people over and stuff like that, but you know, it's Tuesday and everything. So, but yeah, super exciting though. Where's it going to be at Manifest?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, as always. We just organized one out of Manifest.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, you know, we got to check that place out sometime. You know,
So who's going to speak next week here?
well, we have Shiv, and also I want to get Priscilla to speak for one of these weeks as well. So,
Shiv?
yes.
The
Hello. Shiv, yeah, he was here at the previous event. Oh, actually, I should end the stream real quick.
Scholar.